We are leaving Jackson and heading to Flagg Ranch in the Grand Tetons. Jackson was a very lovely little town that we could have done with a bit more time in. Maybe a place to return to. The campground was not one of our favourites. This valley was carved out by glaciers. And it's interesting that down in the bottom of that valley a river runs where the trees are growing. And then there are distinct layers, this sort of marshland here, and then the river valley, and then scrubland on the distant moraine, and then there's forest, and then subalpine and alpine. Distinct layers carved out by the glaciers. And there's lots of campsites in the park. Some of them you can just park up and boondock. Apparently it's pretty rugged country where you have to do that. But there are lots and lots of campsites here. Some bison lazing in the field. It's so amazing. I hope the camera can see them. Bison. Just laying there, waiting for a pat. Waiting for someone to go up and scratch their ears. There's a whole lot more up here. Some in the distance. They weigh over 2,000 pounds. That's over a ton. And they can charge at over 37 miles an hour. Which is an amazing speed. There they are, on the outside of the fence. They are wild. And inside the fence are cows. This is the park entrance to the Grand Teton. You have to pay to go in. It's $35 per vehicle, but we've bought a pass that gets us into every national park in America for 1 year for $80, which has already paid for itself, because this is the 4th time we've been into a park. Should be lots of wildlife to be seen in the park. There's buffalo or bison, which we've already seen today, and there's elk and moose, and in this park there are grizzly bears, which is the first time we've been in a grizzly bear area. Grizzly bears are the grumpy bears that will charge you. And I was reading last night that if you come across a grizzly bear, stand still and just look at him. Do not run away, because they are natural hunters and they will chase you. So stand your ground, and eventually when the bear calms down, back away. However, if the bear knocks you over, protect your neck and your stomach by rolling up into a small ball. And I think at that point, good bloody luck to you. Anyway, there's also black bears here, and they climb trees. So I guess there's always a chance that one's going to jump out of a tree onto you. Yes, bears can outrun you. That's all quite scary, but we're not worried about bears. I think we'd be absolutely lucky to see one, literally exceedingly lucky to see one. There's also lots of little woodland type creatures here. There's pika, and there are squirrels and marmots. So I hope we'll see lots of things that move other than people. Yes, that is a great view through there. With the lake. Oh, look at that. That's so paintable. Wolves here in the park. There's they used to roam here a long time ago. I don't know when. And then they died out. But in the 1980s, they released 30 breeding pairs, and they've re-established themselves. So there's a valley here. I think it's the Lamar Valley, where you can go to watch for wolves. We just saw a sign that said for the next 6 miles, drive very carefully because there are bears with their cubs that may be crossing the road. So we have got our eyes peeled. It would just be so amazing to see a bear. I would so love to see one from the safety of the coach. Nice big view from up here, just on the edge of where that fire was. I can see another patch of fire damage down there. I guess fires are a big problem here. Flagg Ranch, this is where we turn. This is Jackson Lake. Looking very splendid. Very hot day today, which is nice. A place called Oxbow Bend. It's really beautiful. When we drove past here earlier today, there wasn't any wind and there was a beautiful reflection of the mountains, but the wind's got up since. Just here, lovely backdrop. It's quite an extensive waterway here. I guess you can go on the rivers, and these are crows or ravens, but they are so big. Wow, what a massive wingspan. When we were out driving earlier today, we saw a black bear. It looked like a very playful, happy, frisky youngster. He bounded across the road in front of us and disappeared into the woods. He looked certainly very playful, and it was a real joy to see him. But it confirmed to us that yes, there really are bears here, and we have actually bought some bear spray, which Stuart is carrying on his belt. It's only got 7 seconds of spray in it. It cost $50 US, but we think if we come across a grizzly, it's going to be like worth its weight in gold. Just lovely wildflowers. Look at them all through the woodland. Lots of burnt trees, unfortunately. Here's a little pika. Getting closer. Don't run away. Ah, gone. These are the cabins here at Headwater Flagg Ranch. Little rocking chair outside each one. They look lovely. What a great campsite. It's got places for RVs. It's got little tiny cabins that just have bunk beds in them, and then these bigger cabins. And everywhere's got bear bins. There are bears right here in this campground. So they have said keep anything that's got a scent locked away. If you are staying in a tent, you must have nothing with any scent, food, perfume, anything like that in your tent overnight. And if you do not obey those rules, they will fine you $300 US. And I think they do that as much to protect the bears as they do to protect the people. want the bears having to be shot because they attacked. And they don't want bears just being encouraged in. But you can see we're just right on the edge of wilderness here. Lovely little seated area. God, that's so lovely. Look at that place. Fantastic. We're just out having our little afternoon walk. And here we are, perfectly positioned and level in this magnificent environment. This is my favourite campground so far. It's our second most expensive. It's $80, 80 US dollars here a night. We've got a full hookup, sewer, water and 50 amps. Last night was 106. Usually it's about $30 odd.